Hi. Members, welcome to Camp Astro número 3. Number 3, for those of you that don't speak any Spanish. We are the morning after our first night. I'm starting this video a little late in the process. Raymond is checking out our pictures and creating some of the time lapses. And let me tell you where we are. So we are at Big Springs Cabins near the north rim of the Grand Canyon. So Raymond randomly found these. The cabin is electric, but there's no like bathroom in it. It's rustic. I guess this is, I don't know if they still use these from time to time, but the Forest Service used to use these for like incident crews and training crew or training, bunkhouses and stuff. So it's really cool here. There's only a handful of cabins and it's quiet and beautiful. And there are fires in the area. So I'm going to be like coughing and kind of sniffly because there is a significant amount of smoke in the air, but it's beautiful and I love it. So let's see, what shall we start with? Let's start with kind of the process of, let me sit down on the cooler here. Let me start with the process of what we've done so far. Not the process, what we've done so far. We got here yesterday afternoon and we brought kind of all of our stuff into the cabin and pretty much we talked to the camp host, who the camp hosts here are just the best. And they told us about, some cool places for sunset, some cool places for astrophotography. And so we decided to go to Crazy Jug Viewpoint. Crazy Jug? Yeah, Crazy Jug. And we drove down the wrong road, but that's okay. We drove down a slightly more treacherous and longer dirt road than...
Still got there.
than the easier dirt road that we came back on. But we still got there. And I think it was a delightful journey. So, and the old Outback could handle it. So anyway, we went to Crazy Jug for sunset. So Crazy Jug is not inside the national park boundaries. It is in, I think it's in the national forest. We are in the North Kaibab Ranger District, and absolutely a beautiful sunset. So, one thing that Raymond and I were talking about was how different the views are on the north rim of the Grand Canyon compared to the south rim of the Grand Canyon. So on the south rim, it's beautiful, right? I mean, a lot of you have been there. It's just breathtaking. And that's what it is. It's breathtaking and it's beautiful. But you're like, whoa, that is huge. And like, oh, I can see the river down there. Like, it's beautiful. And you can kind of point things out and it's great. But on the north rim, it's a little less of a hole in the ground and more of a landscape. I'm not sure if that's the right way to describe it, but it's sort of like you can see different levels as the canyon drops down. It's not so much of a sheer drop. It's kind of like you can see a little bit of a shelf, down below over here. And over here you can see something that juts out and then you can see, in between you see down. And where we went last night, we couldn't see the Colorado River. Did you see the river at all, Raymond?
I don't remember.
I don't think we saw the river at all, but it was really neat. You could see we were looking towards the west, right? Yeah, we were looking towards the west side of the Grand Canyon. So we couldn't even see like the South Rim National Park area. I don't think we could see it. At least I couldn't pick out Desert View or anything like that, the tower. But it's just so interesting. I really like it out here. And I think that, I knew that I liked the North Rim, but coming out here a little bit outside the park it's just eye-opening to see these different landscapes, and I loved it. So anyway, that really has nothing to do with astrophotography, but it was really cool. So after we did sunset, we drove back and started our astrophotography. So oddly enough, there is a little concrete slab with a basketball net on it here, and we set up on there and set up our lawn chairs and our several tripods, and we used the Nikon Z6 and Z7. We used the Nikon D810 full spectrum converted. We used the Sony Alpha 9 that I am using right now and testing out. And Raymond also set up the Nikon 1V1 with the ultra wide lens for a time lapse of us doing our astrophotography.
Time lapses.
A time lapse of us doing time lapses. And I thought that was really cool. That was Raymond's idea. And his whole...
Well, here's the thing.
His whole experiment.
It's a 1-inch sensor on an obsolete camera with a lens that opens up to f3.5. It's all the things that you shouldn't use for astrophotography. So we did...
Can you see stars in it?
You can. I made sure that I did the exposure so that you could see the sky rotating behind the tripods and stuff. Now, there was ambient light. We're going to go dark tonight somewhere else, but we were right by the cabins where there was lights and stuff. So I don't know how much we'll be able to... Well, we might be able to bring up the stars even more, but even in the little obsolete V1 electronic image review, I could see the Milky Way. So we got some good stuff coming, I think.
I'm very excited.
Don't bump me on that.
So what our process has been with having all the cameras and all that, I'll talk a little more about the cameras themselves and settings and the additional gear that we have. Like I purchased the TechArt Pro TZE-01, which is a Sony E-mount to Nikon Z-mount adapter with autofocus capabilities. Anyway, I will talk more about that, all that gear and settings and stuff in the video that we make for everyone that I will be starting here shortly. But, we were messing around, switching some lenses around, switching cameras on tripods, and we did some just single shots of different areas, and also...
Gonna need another coffee beverage from here.
And also some time lapses. Yeah. So after all the time lapsing and stuff, I mean, we did change batteries a few times. We except for on the D10 because it's a DSLR.
D810.
D810. Because
we got a grip for that too.
Yeah.
I would have had to change batteries.
Yeah, we got a grip for that. Raymond got a grip for it. I didn't
cheap
have anything to do
grip
with this.
But you
It's
can...
nice. It's a cheap third-party grip, but it has controls and stuff on it.
You can swap. We haven't done a hot swap during a time lapse.
Theoretically.
The notion is that...
Here, will you open it?
We would pull this out. Now it's running off the camera's battery in the normal spot in the camera.
Yeah, because there's only one slot in the grip, and then your battery in the camera
battery
stays there.
Put it in, and now you're powered back up, but you never stopped your time lapse.
This grip also has a sled for AA batteries. AA? Yeah, AA batteries.
Yep.
So that's cool too. Did you bring that? I doubt it.
I did not.
Yeah.
But that's your oh my gosh, I lost my battery or whatever, or I'm in a country where I can't charge my batteries for some reason. But
or you have a bunch of rechargeable AA's, but you don't have a lot of camera batteries. You know?
The ubiquitous Envelopes.
Yeah, we use our Eneloop. Eneloops or Eneloop Pros, or even the Amazon Basics high capacity batteries are good. Although I think those are all being used up in random things right now, so I don't even have any of those loose. So after we took photos, really as the time lapse is finished, I was bringing stuff into the cabin. That was one really nice thing about being in a cabin rather than a tent, was that I could just set the tripods up over there, and you know, I didn't have to worry about it. I didn't have to put lens caps on the lenses. I didn't have to do anything. I did take batteries out and start charging them. We set up a little charging station. Another nice thing about being in an electric cabin, or a cabin with electricity, we do have the Energy Apex over there. But Raymond was using that outside because he was working on his computer. So he had his computer plugged into that, and then he also had batteries charging on there at some point. Anyway, as I brought cameras in, I would plug the batteries in, but I just left the memory cards in the cameras. And then this morning, once, you know, we were all done at like 2:30 or 3 or something, got a couple hours of sleep, and then got up and I transferred stuff. I guess in the middle of the night, you actually had transferred some D810 images, right? To clear the card?
To clear the card, and I wanted to see if my settings were going to look as good on the computer as they did in the camera. Everything was okay.
Yeah. So, yeah, we just kind of cycled all the batteries through as they were charging, and we brought, I'll show you our little battery charger station. We brought one, dedicated Nikon EN-EL15 battery charger, because this is faster than our little RAV Power double. They sent this to me and I did a review of it, and man, we get a lot of use out of this. It is a slower charge than this.
But it's USB-able.
But it's USB-able. It just has a micro USB. And it's double, which is nice because you can plug your batteries in overnight and just leave them. You don't have to have this big thing and only have one battery charging. I also had the Sony battery charger plugged in, but I only have one Sony battery and it is charged. So that is not being charged anymore, or not plugged in anymore. So yeah, that's where we are right now. We are going to maybe go for a little run today, and then the other thing is that there's a community restroom with showers. So I'm gonna go for a run and take a shower, which is a luxury. And then we're gonna go to the national park area of the North Rim early this afternoon and hang out, picnic, take some pictures, explore a little bit, relax, and probably get another sunset maybe. And then we talked about where we're going to, and I might get some internet access so I can post something because there's no service here whatsoever. But at the North Rim, there's a little bit of Wi-Fi. So we talked about where we're going to go tonight, Raymond. Some meadows.
Maybe.
But the meadows are the opposite direction from us.
No, it's at it's by Demont Campground. It's on our way back.
Oh, it is. I was thinking of the way we went last night, but we won't be driving that way because we're going into the park.
We'll be driving that way. We just continue on down 22.
Yeah. But it won't be so much out of the way when we come back. I get it. So, we might try that. The camp host said that there's these meadows behind the general area of Demont Campground. And apparently there's no lights around, and it's unobstructed views. Now, I don't necessarily want completely unobstructed views. I do want something in a lot of my frames, but we're in the forest, so there's trees. I can find something to put as a reference point or point of interest in the images, and that's it. That's all we're doing right now. We think that since we kind of have our settings and such dialed in for the cameras, that we'll be able to set up some of the cameras for, you know, several hour time lapses pretty early in the evening, because the new moon was last night, so we have no moon set to contend with, and tonight we really won't have any moon set to contend with either. And we can set them up pretty early, be done by like midnight, drive back, and get some sleep before tomorrow when we actually have to leave, which is so sad. But yeah, I will talk to you more from, well, probably from the north rim of the Grand Canyon. Well, it's time for a run. There's a UTV contingent coming up behind us. So the fire closure area for this particular fire, is this one, what was this one, Castle?
I'm not sure.
Can't quite remember. It's right there. So we're gonna go kind of along the side of it. This is the road to a 100-foot lookout tower, but I don't think we're gonna make it all the way to the tower today. Maybe some other time. All right, let's go. Ready? Yep. Okay, maybe it wasn't the smartest idea to run up a fire tower lookout road after taking Sudafed. My heart rate is sky high, so I'm walking right now. Oh, here comes Raymond. He ran up ahead, and he was going to turn around at the 2-mile mark, I think. Yeah, but here he comes. But I'm showing this in the video for everybody, but I want to show it to you all too. Here's another spot where this side of the road is beautiful and green, and there's flowers, dandelions and grasses. Hey, Raymond. And then this side of the road, over here, you get a good spot, is burnt. Like right to the road. Look. Road. Burnt. Burnt, 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 burnt. All the way up. Let's turn around. Oh, I'm almost 2 miles. Almost. 1.83. I did have to do a little turn around at the beginning because we weren't sure if we'd locked the car. We drove a mile up the road-ish to get to a trail that we wanted to go to, but it was closed because of the fire. So I think it's the Castle fire over here. I can't quite remember. And I can't look it up because there's no service. But, oh wait, it'll be on the sign. Ha ha ha. Always thinking. So, oh, I like these little flying grasshopper guys. Hi, buddy. He's gonna fly off if I get close to him. Oh, there he goes. I like them. I like the noise they make. A little clacking. You can hear them at night too. So, anyway, headed back down. I think I can actually run now. My heart rate comes down quickly as I'm going down, so I should be okay. It's hot out here, you guys. Oh my goodness. You think you're coming up to high elevation, and because this should be, let's look on my watch. This is elevation. Well, I've ascended 519 feet, but oh shoot, I guess I don't have elevation on here. I think I'll add it to that screen. I can change what's on my widgets here on my screen, or on the screens on my watch. So it's fun. It's always fun to know, like, well, what elevation am I at now? And to know that, oh, I climbed a little over 500 feet today. That's cool. You know, why not for the first run after being sick, right? I'm just trying to make myself feel better because I'm feeling woefully out of shape. So, all right, enough with this chitter chatter, you guys. Geez, holding me up. I'm gonna run now. Let's go. We're on our way to the North Rim. How many miles did it just say to the next rim?
21.
21 miles to be pretty close to the entrance station, which incidentally is apparently closed due to wasp nesting. Yikes. The entrance station is closed. You can still get in. You just have to do a self-pay station or go to the visitor center or ranger station or something to pay, or show your card, which is what we will be doing. So I wanted to show you what we're doing while we are driving, other than, you know, Raymond is driving. So I brought out of the bag the Alpha 9 and the telephoto lens, along with the teleconverter. I have it set up for wildlife, so that if anything, you know, if we see anything along the way, I can be quick about, you know, take the lens cap off, turn the camera on, and I'm ready to go. Raymond has out the Z7 and the 24-70 millimeter f2.8 lens. And by the way, he's using the wrist strap. He's a fan of the wrist strap, aren't you? Yeah. Why did you choose the that setup, the Z7 and the 24-70?
Because you took all the good stuff. I'm just kidding. It's nice and versatile for the environment that we'll be in.
Yeah. And we didn't bring any other telephoto lenses. We didn't bring telephoto lenses for the Nikon cameras, so.
How many do you need?
Yeah, so I'm sure that Raymond might grab the Alpha 9 and use it a little bit.
Raymond might sleep. Raymond might sleep.
Raymond might sleep. So we have everything in the back because we do not intend to go back to the cabin until the wee hours of the morning. Now, we are unsure of where we're going to go for Astro this evening. We're gonna spend some time in the park, you know, take some pictures, be tourists a little bit. It's hot out, although it says 85 right now. It said 100 when we first got into the car. So
That's because it was sitting.
yeah, I guess because it was sitting. But it feels very hot. So I'm not going to be like hiking around a whole lot. So for tonight, here are our thoughts. Oh, hold on, cattle guard. Noisy. Here are our thoughts on where we'll go tonight. Either those meadows that we mentioned, they're on our way back anyway, so we'll stop, we'll check it out, you know? That's Raymond's vote. My vote, however, is maybe to drive, hey, you stop that, to drive up to the lookout tower.
Oh.
And get some Astro with the lookout tower in it.
No.
Yeah.
Everyone and their UTV brothers are gonna bring their beers there or something.
They will be beering at, oh,
No,
I wonder.
I don't want to be at an attraction point. I want to be in the most boring place around. We had character to our time lapses last night because we were right by the cabin, so there was just something to complain about. There was just light on and off and cars and stuff like that.
You don't want that tonight.
No, and some huckleberry will show up at the tower. group of huckleberries. I don't know what a huckleberry is.
I don't really know either. Okay, I think you actually do have me convinced.
Boring. Someplace where nobody would go. And,
I would like
huckleberry.
a place, potentially like a meadow, where I can kind of move around unobstructed. Meaning, I don't even know if this is pointed at me. Meaning that I would like to be able to walk around and move my tripod around, which I didn't really feel like I could do that very much
Crazy
last
Jug
night.
Point, 12 miles.
Crazy Jug Point, 12 miles. That's where we were yesterday.
Now we're in uncharted territory.
Yeah. Forest.
We've gone one step further
Forest
down
Road
this
22.
road than we ever have before.
No, wait, actually, we did. Remember, we turned around up here. No,
No,
no, wait, no, yeah, you're right. That was way back there. I'm on Sudafed. I don't remember anything right now. He's had to tell me the camp host name like 4 times. It's embarrassing. Anyway, that's what we're doing. We do have like everything packed up back there. We've got food, we've got our sleeping bags, because we're probably going to park somewhere and like maybe sit in the car while time lapses are going.
Why didn't I bring my pillow?
Oh, I meant to grab them. We can use the bags of popcorn as pillows. Yeah, well, those will be gone by tonight probably. We'll have snapped those to the end. All right, that's all. Onward. Hello, members. We just finished sunset at Imperial Point at the North Rim within the park, and it was very nice. Not the most dramatic, or best place to like get beautiful sunset photos, just because of the location and how the where the sun is setting, and how we just ended up with a somewhat harsh shadow, but then it got beautiful after the sun went down a little bit. So what do you think, Raymond?
I agree.
Yeah.
I don't think you always need the sun and the sunset.
Yeah.
I'm not just saying that because of where we went, but the nice, working with the Voigtlander and the Z7, everything's nice and even and wonderful and
Purpley.
flowy.
Soft. Yeah. And I was going to film out there, but it was real windy, so the audio would not have worked. So we did take a bunch of photos. I used the Sony. Most of the time I had the telephoto on the Alpha 9, trying desperately to get some wildlife, but they were hiding from me. And the one time a raven did sit on a rock, I waited and waited and waited and waited and waited and waited and waited for him to take off, and he didn't until I looked away. So I do have some photos of him just sitting on the rock, which is nice. And then I also put the 24mm on the Sony for a while. And then I also used the Z6 with a new lens baby that I have. It is the, it's not so new anymore. It's new to me, but it was introduced earlier this year. It's the Composer Pro 2, and the optic in it is the Edge 35. And I really enjoyed using that today, actually. It's a tilt lens, that for those of you that aren't familiar with, what this particular lens is, or what Lens Baby does, but this one is a tilt lens where you can swap out the optic portion of the lens. It's real cool, and I really enjoyed it. It was easy to use. You manually focus with it, and it was real easy to use. Raymond, what were you shooting with?
I was shooting with our full spectrum D810. Surprise!
I said I was going to use it this evening and just didn't. I was so like, ooh, Lens Baby.
I did some UV, which I think lends itself really well to the Grand Canyon. They come out black and white, but they come out kind of like surreal.
Yeah.
Surreal black and white, if that's a thing.
I'm looking forward to seeing those, because I didn't see any on the back of the camera.
I did. Well, they're purple on the back of the camera too. Although if you set, in that case, because they do come out monochrome, if you basically set the camera to monochrome, you'll get a good idea. It won't be exactly the same because of the way the color channels work and stuff. It'll be pretty close. I had to go to ISO 100,000 to do that.
Oh wow!
It really cuts that UV band is very, very dim.
It was also getting darker.
Yeah, yeah. Even in bright sun, you might be at ISO 800.
Yeah.
But so we'll see what happens there. And then I did some with the Kolari Aerochrome, IR Chrome. I have to take a little break from that. I've been hitting that a little too hard. That should be an every once in a while thing, not an everyday thing like I've been doing with it. And then
unless you want to feel like you're walking around in a Dr. Seuss book.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then the Life Pixel Hypercolor infrared that I might do some Astro with tonight, along with the IR Chrome, along with the Hydrogen Alpha. Probably a time lapse with the Hydrogen Alpha as well. Although I think I'm jealous of the picture that you've posted on Instagram, and I think my Astro time lapses, I think I need to take a little break from that. We will run one, of course, tonight, but I think I need to actually take some still photos where I plan on editing and like working with a single image instead of just doing like these broad stroke edits to one image, copying it to the other 600 images and calling it a time lapse. Time lapses are nice. I love them.
Awesome.
But like, I watched one this morning from last night, and I was like, okay, that's pretty much the same as the other set.
Yeah, but you could take a photo from your time lapse set and work on it.
I can't because I'm shooting for the time lapse with shutter speeds that work for still images.
Well,
yeah.
Mine was 1/15 of a second, and you were like, "Oh, I would have."
No, what I'm saying, I am.
Not 1/15.
I've been shooting
15 seconds.
I've been shooting 10 seconds, so that they're very usable. But I'm not putting the thought into the image. I've been getting it close enough, knowing that I'm gonna slather the same
deer coming up
edits on.
Gonna cross the road up there. Maybe
on 600 images.
You see 'em?
Yeah, they're down in that little.
Guys, I don't know.
They're not.
It's dark, but just for your sake, look at how beautiful this road is. Point to the road to Point Imperial. Here it comes. Here it comes. Here it comes. Here it comes. Hi, bye. Oh, I love him. I love him so much.
It's good that he's scared of people.
I love him.
He did the all four leg hop.
I love it when they hop like that. I love it. It's brilliant. I want to hop through the forest like that.
I've seen you hop through the forest like that.
Yeah, usually I fall down when I do it though. So, I'm sorry to interrupt. I did want to make sure we didn't run over any deer because it is getting darker. But, so you also use the Voigtlander though. What did you use that on? The Z7?
Yeah, we just talked about that.
Oh. Apparently I wasn't listening to that part. Now, it's 7:13 p.m. We haven't eaten dinner. And I think...
We have 3 hours to eat dinner.
I mean, I've been...
Lapses.
Yeah, that's true. I've kind of been snacking too. But I think that we figured out where we're going to go. We're going to go to...
Meadow.
Are we going to go to the meadow, or are we going to go closer?
Meadow.
Okay. Lots of birds diving in front of the car. We're going to go to not what is called the meadows. The meadows, I think, are the meadows. The clearing area on either side of the road as the paved road as you're driving into the national park. We're going to be going off on a dirt road to get back to our cabins, but there were some beautiful meadows a little closer, just a little bit closer to the cabin. So that means we will, one, not have any lights from, we have less chance on the dirt road of having a car drive by than we do at the actual meadows, right? Because it's like the paved road going into the national park.
I don't know how the meadows that we're going to aren't actual meadows.
No, I mean, they're not the meadows. Capital T, capital M.
You need to be, no, they're meadows. They're no less meadows than the meadows that you're referring to.
Okay. Anyway, so we're gonna go there, see what we can see. There's grasses, and then there's trees. You know, I imagine we'll be somewhere near the car, not right by the trees, but then if we walk a little bit, we can be up where the trees are to get some trees maybe in the foreground of some of our Astro shots. All right, so that's what we're doing. We're gonna use all the same gear as last night, except probably one less time lapse. So that's it, everybody, for now. All right, members, this is it. We are on our way back. We have reached this beautiful lookout. This is a viewpoint just on the road on the way to Jacob Lake. We have the painted desert here. And then out that way, it's pretty too. So anyway, we pulled off so I could actually get something to drink from the cooler and wrap everything up for you. So we did more Astro last night, of course. We went to some meadows and they were beautiful. And here's what I'm looking for. And it was one of those places that was so dark that it's like you don't even, you know, you can't see you can't see your hand in front of your face practically, at least until your eyes adjust a little bit. Excuse me. So anyway, it was awesome. We did a couple of time lapses. We did some regular photos with the cameras. We did time lapses with the Z6 and the ultra wide f4 lens, and the D810 with the Voigtlander on it, the Voigtlander 28mm f2 Ultron. It did a really good job for a time lapse, actually. For still photography, still astrophotography, you know, if you wanted to zoom in or something, it gets a little iffy, but for a time lapse, it's great. And yeah, it was really neat. There, you know, a couple things happened. We got better at positioning our cameras. We got better at choosing our tripods. We got better at moving the time lapses kind of away from where we're going to be. But then one funny thing happened. We got into the car to take a nap while the time lapses were going, and we just were like in the front seats. Well, Raymond was in the driver's seat and he hit the brake pedal once and illuminated my time lapse with the Z6. And there is one frame that has some red trees. So I think hopefully we'll just be able to pull that frame out. We'll see. But that's it, everybody. My battery's about to die on this. So I don't know exactly the form that Camp Astro number 3 will take. Here comes a semi. But I'm hoping to share some more tips and lessons learned in it with everybody. So that's it, members. Thank you all for your support, and I'll talk to you soon.